So I was gonna wait to do old episode reviews until after the series ended, but since Disney wants to release one episode a month, I figured now was as good a time as any. What's going on, YouTube? You know, I started doing Girl Meets World videos around Girl Meets Texas, which means I didn't review half of season 2 and all of season 1. And there are some really good episodes that I didn't even talk about. So I want to work on changing that, starting with one of my favorite episodes in season 2. Girl Meets Yearbook. Y'all ready? So the episode starts off with Lucaya looking gorgeous, and already this is better than all of season 3. Just this one screenshot right here. So the episode starts off with Maya asking Lucas does he want to know what she really thinks about him. And Lucas knows what's coming. And the biggest ha-her in history just happened. This episode is legendary for that reason alone. And I loved how satisfied Maya looked after the fact. So everyone is winning certain awards for the year, and Riley won most likely to smile herself to death. Man, ain't that the truth? Most likely to cringe her audience to death may be more appropriate though. And Lucas won most likely to be okay with anything that happens. That definitely suits that boy, considering he was more than okay with ending up with the second best girl of the two that he had to choose from, but you know, I'm getting off track. And this is also the episode where Farkle turns into Donnie Barnes, regular guy. And I couldn't help but notice how turned on that Riley looked initially. Although you could argue that it was more of a shocked look, but I'm gonna go with the former because Ryarko and you. But here comes the real reason that this episode is legendary. Maya and Lucas one favorite couple. God, I remember my heart melting when I first saw this scene. I had an emotional orgasm and I'm not afraid to admit it. And when asked how can anybody ever see them as a couple, the class responded saying that everybody does, which was so true during this time. I feel like the writers were talking directly to their audience here. Kind of a I see you moment here. I know you guys see Lucaya as a couple, back when the writers were actually well respected by their fans. Seems like forever ago, doesn't it? So Maya and Lucas are like fire, which is way more interesting than a summer rain. Leave the summer rains for fairy tale Disney movies where they belong. So once Riley realizes that Maya is probably gonna steal her man, she goes complete goth, because that was clearly the only logical direction to go from there. So Riley is tired of being chipper and Farkle is tired of being his old goofy self. Random thoughts. I find it funny how often that Riley went through different identity crises, yet only Maya's is highlighted as being the dramatic one in the series that changed everything. But I digress. And then Riley says something that I wholeheartedly agree with.
There is no value to the existence of Riley.
Probably the most true statement that she has ever said. But then Farkle says the same thing, which is not true at all. Farkle, your existence matters, man. There are people out there that care about you. Don't you ever talk that way about yourself. And I'm just now remembering how incredibly annoying it was for Farkle to say I'm Donnie Barnes repeatedly. So glad that that character died quickly. So here is where the worst storyline in sitcom history starts. Revisiting this knowing what I know now makes me sick to my stomach. I'm like on the verge of tears, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm sad or incredibly pissed. So Maya goes to her mom for help, and Maya asks her mom to help her turn her into Riley. And ironically, this is also where the other storyline starts that the writers chose to abandon later on. The one that they should have stuck by and went with. Katie warns Maya that once she becomes Riley, she's gonna learn things about her that she didn't know before. Maybe a secret or two. And then Katie does her best Riley impressions.
I love today. Today is even better than yesterday, and yesterday was the best day ever.
Oh my god, that explains Riley in a nutshell. And now comes one of my favorite Lucaya moments. Maya dresses up like Riley, and at first Lucas is disgusted, rightfully so. But once Maya says hi to Lucas in the cutest way I have ever heard anybody say hi to anybody, he is completely sucked in and in awe over her, and puts on a face that I'm not sure I've ever seen him put on since, before snapping out of it and coming back to reality. I absolutely loved this. I can't remember the exact moment I became a Lucaya shipper, but I was definitely one way before this episode. So this just made my Lucaya heart explode. And I loved how when Lucas unintentionally hurt Maya's feelings, when he said her life was less than ideal, you can see it all over her face. Like I said in my 50 Reasons Lucaya is Better video, Maya cares what Lucas thinks of her. And that couldn't be any more obvious here. So here comes one of the moments that made me so confident that Lucaya was in game. And this is the moment where my fantasy of Lucaya becoming a thing started to look more like a reality. And I remember clearly how I was feeling during this moment. I was on cloud 9. And obviously I'm talking about the moment when Maya discovers that Riley and Lucas are more like brother and sister. A storyline that got kicked to the curb for a more idiotic storyline. But at the time, this was an amazing moment, and Lucaya fans were rejoicing everywhere. And I still don't understand why they would go with this storyline just to completely dump it later on. It makes no sense unless they plan to revisit it, or the more likely scenario, they're idiots and they for whatever reason panicked and just dropped it all together, which is just so sad and so pathetic in so many ways. It's like they were just so frightened and scared of being original, so they decided to go back to the safe bet. But let me not turn this into a rant video, because I've been there and done that. So the episode ends with Riley asking Maya if she found out anything about her when she was Riley, and Maya says no and keeps that secret until later on, as we all know. And Riley goes back to being Riley, and Maya is supposedly still Riley at this time, even though at the time nobody knows it. I don't even think the writers knew it. And Farkle grows up and moves on from his childish Farkle image. Or maybe moves on isn't the right word, but he definitely matures. So overall, not knowing what I know now, I would have rated this episode a 9.5 out of 10 because I enjoyed it that much. It was just drowned with Lucaya greatness. And this was one of the episodes that actually made me want to start talking about Girl Meets World. And once Girl Meets Texas started, I had no choice because I couldn't contain my excitement any longer. But this was definitely one of my favorite episodes in season 2, and had the writers gone in the direction that I think they were gonna go originally, I would probably love it even more than I already do. But knowing what I know now, my love for the episode definitely took a hit, but I mean, I still love it. How can you not? But I'm done talking. Let me know the next episode that you guys want me to review in the comment section below. And if you guys are interested in supporting my channel so I can make many more videos for you guys going forward, check out that Patreon link in the description box. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. But as always, until next time.